Happy Monday, everyone. I'm here with Margo Arrowsmith and Betty Withrow. And Margo Arrowsmith has created a program called Your Perfect Retirement Living. And she's going to talk about part of the first step in her program is your perfect day, where you go through everything that you would like to do in your perfect day. And that helps set your focus for choosing where you might go, whether you stay in your own home, go to one of the various organizations, facilities, run away from home with a motor home, or spend the next year or two on a cruise ship. So anyway, it all starts with getting clarity on what it is you really want. And so Margo's going to tell us more about that.
Yeah, hi. I have been seeing people and helping people better their lives for more than 40 years now. And one of the things that I have seen is that it's very hard for people to get out of where they are right now at this minute, to think about what they want in the future. So what we tend to do as human beings is we tend to then make assumptions for what we want in our future or what we think we're going to want. For instance, if you have a job and you're a little burnt out and you're tired of the job and you're looking to retirement, all you can think about is, I cannot wait to not have to get up in the morning. I cannot wait to not have anything to do all day long. Or I'm going to spend every day all day golfing. Um, it's sort of like, I'm unhappy now. This is what makes me happy. Therefore, that's what my life is going to be. And it sounds real good while we're dreaming about the future. The problem is that it often doesn't work. As I would say, from what I've experienced with people I work with, it doesn't work more often than it does. So many people, and now most of my clientele are retired people. And they started out, it was so nice not to have to get up in the morning. It was so nice not to have to answer to people that I don't especially like. It was just so many nice things. For about 2 weeks, it was just lovely. But then all of a sudden they realized that, now what do I do? Now what do I do? And they never thought about that. And they never gave the time to think about, what do I really want? What do I really want? Well, they knew they didn't like the job they were in, or they liked it, but they were tired of it, or whatever. They just knew they wanted out. And now what do we do? So the first part of my course, Your Perfect Retirement Living, is to help people realize what it is they want in their day-to-day life for the rest of their lives, most likely. And the first part of the course is called Your Perfect Day Exercises. There's 4 sections to this exercise, but the first one is where you really go through. You don't just say, well, I want to do what I want to do. I want to play golf. Because frankly, even if you want to play golf every day for the rest of your life, it takes anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours to play 9 holes of golf, and for some people to play 18 rounds of golf. Okay. What do you do with the rest of the day? Well, I don't know. So what we do is we start out from the minute you open your eyes. We teach you to start out looking at that. From the minute you open your eyes, where are you? What time of day is it? Who are you with? Really getting into the minutia of your day to day. Not, by the way, a bucket list of, I want to travel around the world once before I stop. On a regular day, what is it where do you want to wake up? What kind of sheets do you want to be sleeping on? Who's in bed with you? Who's not in bed with you? What do you have for breakfast? For example, and I give this as an example. Some people might, because they're night owls, so they might wake up at 11 o'clock, 11:30, and they wake up and they're looking around and they go sit on their patio because they live in a high rise, because that's what they want. And they have a brunch every morning. That's what they want to do. Some people might want to wake up before dawn because what they want to do is get some nice coffee and some waffles and sit out out in their backyard, and they want to watch the sun come up. We really want you to think about your life that specifically. So then what do you want to do in the next hour? Do you want to still kind of lounge around? Do you want to do a hobby What is that hobby? Can you where do you need to be living to do that hobby? What is the best background? What do you want to do for lunch? Now, the fun thing about this first part of the exercise is that the laws of physics and economics really don't matter. For example, if you say, well, every day at lunch, I want to fly to Paris and have lunch with my 3 best friends. Well, that's not going to happen. But you write it down anyway, because that's going to tell you something that's going to be clues and hints to what you can do to make every day of your life one of the best days ever. Okay. And you go through this throughout the entire day. Okay. The second part of the exercise is then you go back and you highlight. 3 colors, you highlight everything that is a must. Like, for instance, I absolutely must wake up on satin sheets and have coffee on a balcony watching the sun come up over the ocean. That's a must. Well, it'd be kind of nice if I had lunch with friends every day, but every day might be a bit much, but it'd be nice. Well, and I could absolutely do without actually doing it in Paris every day. Okay. For those of people who like to work in the yard, well, it's an absolute must that I have a little bit of dirt that I get my fingers in. It'd be really nice to be able to have a vegetable garden. I absolutely do not need to mow the lawn. Okay, so you prioritize that way. Again, in further on down, that's going to help you prioritize what you want. That's going to help you decide where it is you want to live. Now, if you want the whole shebang, I'm going to get back to the gardening. If you want the whole shebang, and if you want to mow the lawn, have a vegetable garden, the whole and dirty fingernails all the time, fine. That's going to give you a big clue as to where you need to live. At the very least, you need to live probably in a 55 plus. Most likely in a house, maybe not the one you're living in now, maybe a smaller house, but something with some ground, right? If you just want to have some pretty flowers, well, you might just need a balcony where you can put some pots out. Do you see where I'm going here? But you really have to know what's in your heart and what you really want. I don't want to give you too many examples now because that's not what we're doing right now anyway. And number one and number two, I don't want to put ideas into your head because I want all of these ideas to come from you. Okay. Anyway, so once you've decided these are the musts, these are the well, it'd be nices, these are the I can get along without them. Then you start planning and you start putting the different categories with where the possibilities are and where you need to be. Okay. Then we have a section where we talk about all the different possibilities. And by the way, Greg said, go on a cruise for a year or two. There are people who retire to cruise ships. Now, not very many, and I can't picture myself doing it, but I picture myself doing what I'm doing, right? But the opportunities are actually limitless. However, number one, if you don't know what you really want, if you haven't done that Your Perfect Day exercise and broken it down and had ask me some questions in our Facebook page and talked with other people, you really don't know. You really don't know. And that's why we do what we do. Okay. And when you've decided what you want, for instance, let's say you've decided on 55 plus, and there are a lot of people happy there. Not everybody's happy there, I want to tell you. And we talk about what the drawbacks are. Then you can, well, are those drawbacks too big for me? Will those drawbacks keep me from having my perfect day? Everything gets back to that first exercise. Everything gets back to that perfect exercise, that first exercise, okay? And then when you've decided, say it's 55 plus or maybe even independent living, and we talk about the differences between those two, then we teach you how to shop. And by that, I mean, when you go to a place, I talked with somebody the other day and she had done marketing for it was a independent living / assisted living facility. One of the things she said was, I love this. She said, when we're talking to prospective residents, we call ourselves a community, but all of the other buildings we call them facilities, and we slip that in very carefully. So they start thinking of us as a community, which is so nice, those others as facilities, which is eh. So what we do is we start teaching you how to listen to the sales techniques and how to ask questions and what questions to ask. Okay. And then we talk to you about how to get what you really want, and we help you really do it. And we're with you every step of the way. I mean, you go through the course, and frankly, if all you ever did was listen to the videos on the course, you would be light years ahead of most people, frankly. But what we also offer is the ability to ask me questions. I mean, there's like once a week where I go in and answer questions, and um, some of them are, basically people asking kind of the same question in different ways. So I just answer that generally. But sometimes somebody could even get on the air and ask a specific question, which I will talk to you about. You can talk to each other. You are going to be so equipped to finding the actual place that you want to live. Now, it might end up being that's what you always thought you wanted to do. Great. Then you've chosen the right thing. For a lot of people, their eyes are opened to a lot of other possibilities. And again, even amongst the possibilities, to learn how to make sure that they get what they're promised and what they thought they were going to get. Anyway, so what I'm going to encourage you to do is to go to our website, yourperfectretirementliving.com. There's more videos there you can look at, but what I really want you to do is to sign up. Just sign up. Senior care counselor, somebody who helps you find a place to live, they charge $250 an hour. And I will guarantee you, when you start working with one of them, some of them even have contracts that you have to work with them at least 10 hours. Well, that's a lot of money. The course is a whole lot less than that. The course isn't even as much less than 1 hour with one of those people. And even if you ultimately need one of those people for a reason, you come to them with so much knowledge that you don't need them for as many hours. So you're going to save a lot of money. You're going to save a lot of heartache. And it's a win-win situation, and you really can't lose by signing up. So go to yourperfectretirementliving.com. And Greg has some things on there, and you can listen to Betty on some things. Betty's done some wonderful writing, which informs you more. And of course, I'm there, and you can talk to me. So I'll look forward to seeing you all there.
That's fabulous, Margo. So do you have any questions, Betty? Any comments?
My question would be, why would someone not do this when Margo is right there with all of her wisdom to offer, and the price is so reasonable, and there are such great resources there? And if I'm not mistaken, talking with Margo for an hour will give you a whole lot more directly useful information than most of the other sources that she's mentioned here.
Well, yeah. And, one of the things, Betty, that you bring up is, people who do marketing at 55 plus and at, assisted living, most of them are lovely, very nice people. However, their job is to sell you a particular product.
Right.
And just like I said, with that woman who's talked about how we're a community, they're a facility, their job is to have you be there. Even if somehow they knew that, well, this particular person might be happier over at this other place, they're not going to tell you that. They're just not. Right. And that's just what sales is. We've all grown up with it. We've bought a lot of cars in our lives, but this is a whole lot more important than buying a car. So yes, I appreciate that, Betty. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? There's nothing to lose, a whole lot to gain.
Yes, that's great. And also, I want to mention that you're available, Margo, to do presentations in your area, in your city. If you have a group, a service group, or a seniors organization, and you have people in your community who want to know more about making better choices, Margo's available to do a presentation to your group and answer questions.
Right. And I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina since Greg had said, and I'm certainly happy to be there locally. I would not be adverse if a group, a business group who had people who were in their 50s and kind of, starting to think about things, or any kind of group, a church group. If it's too far away for me to come to them, I'm not adverse to doing it online.
Yeah.
And frankly, if they want to fly me there, I'll get on a plane and go.
Especially if it's Bali or someplace like that.
Well, I'd even, well, you know what? I'd even go to San Francisco. That would be a nice place.
Yeah,
Any places.
that's a hardship going to San Francisco.
Yeah,
sure.
it would be a hardship, I'm sure.
Or Monterey.
Yeah, I could miss my brother, but yes, no. So local groups that are local to Raleigh, I'm more than happy to go visit. Personally, I love, as you might have gathered from listening to me already, I love to talk. And I know a lot. I know that sounds, I was raised to not talk about yourself that way, but when I think about, I've been working with people and with families, helping families get along better for more than 40 years. And I know a few things. I've kind of gotten good at it. And in the last 5 years, I've learned a lot about the places that older people live. And I know that, I think a way to put it is they're all good for somebody.
Yeah.
None of them are good for everybody, but they're marketed, all of them, as if they're good for everybody.
Yeah.
And one of the other problems is that the marketing also extends to doctors and lawyers. They market to doctors and lawyers who see a lot of old people. They market to children. And the way they do that is they market to, say, doctors to say, you should really tell your patients to come to us because they'd be so much better off with us. Well, some of them would be, but not everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, as we discussed before we even started the broadcast, it's the perfect place for you. What is the perfect choice for you? And it all starts with that perfect day exercise to get clarity about what it is you really want. And you can look at it. And maybe what you want is where you are.
Exactly. But yes, exactly. Maybe what you really want is where you are. And then, by the way, if your children start telling you, well, because there's a lot of propaganda out there now saying, well, everybody wants to stay at home, but most people can't. So, and they're marketing to your children. They're telling your children that. So even by doing the perfect day exercise, number one, you have something to answer to your children without just telling them to mind their own business. You can say, well, but look, this is, and we also, if you want to stay home, we tell you how to do it in the best way. So that when your kids are all upset about, finding you, God knows what their imaginations are, we tell you how to talk to them. Both to make them be respectful for you and your capabilities and what you want, but also to feel comfortable with it. Because there's a lot of people out there spending a lot of money to terrorize your children, to tell them how terrible it would be if you stay home. I mean, there just is. I'm sorry. And some of those people are nice and some of them aren't so nice. But regardless, they're spending a lot of money to tell your children that you cannot stay home. And some of you may need some adjustments to be able to stay home, and that's fine. We teach you how to do that.
Yeah. I've got a story related to staying home. Bonnie's sister in California, her mother-in-law was sort of in not great health. She needed some help. And anyway, their daughter went and lived with her, enrolled in a local college. So she was there to help, and it's all worked out well. And it kind of transitioned to the next step. But that was one solution that helped both the daughter and the mother-in-law. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I tell you, in my practice now, I have actually. It used to be that it was hardly, I mean, in the olden days, it was very common to have older people live with their children. Now, and then it got to be so you never heard of it at all. And if you'd heard of it, it was just out of dire necessity. Now, I had my parents with me until they died, by the way, and it was a little bit of financial necessity, but not totally. But lately, it's starting to take hold again. Right now, in my practice, I have 3 different women who are living with their grown sons and daughters-in-law, and helping with the grandchildren. They're setting limits. They're not like the babysitter, but they're around to help if it's needed. But basically, and it's working out quite well. That's something that's starting to take hold again. So we can But if you're going to do it, you got to know how to do it right. And that's another thing that we help you with. We teach you how to have the boundaries, how to set it up so that people know what to expect and what not to expect. There's so much in this course. Betty is right. Why would you not?
Yeah.
Why would you not? I mean, you could go out to dinner at a fancy restaurant for about what this course costs. So why would you not do it?
That's right.
It's a perfect opportunity to go through all of the options, and it's very comprehensive what you go through, like the perfect day exercise, and then you move on to other considerations, and you go into quite a bit of detail about the various different options too.
Yes.
So
yes.
And you always say knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. One of the things I talk about is that because when you go, if you want to go to an assisted living or independent living, they'll have you eat a meal so you'll know what the food tastes like. But I teach you how to ask, well, how are the meals served? Because that's really more important. But nobody ever tells you that. So I tell you things to ask that nobody would even think to tell you to ask. And they're certainly not going to tell you to ask because they don't want you to know this stuff.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's probably a good place to end here. Just go visit yourperfectretirementliving.com and learn more. And again, Margo's available if you have a group locally in Raleigh, North Carolina, that could would like Margo to come and speak to your group about this. Just let her know. She's available on LinkedIn.
I am on LinkedIn at Margo Arrowsmith. You can find me there.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to contact through the website yourperfectretirementliving.com.
I think there is also, yes.
So anyway,
Facebook and message me.
And Facebook, she's almost everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
So thank you very much for joining us today, and happy Monday.
Bye-bye, folks.
Okay.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.